It's a new way for a new day as United Methodist. Um, and I've chosen in this series to talk about the United Methodist Church as a denomination of verbs, not nouns. That's why I've chosen to define our practices with words ending in the suffix ing, because ing implies action and behavior. This new identity does not deny the importance of nouns such as doctrine. It simply assures that if doctrines are not behaved and made visible in actions of servanthood, sacrificial and empathetic love, those nouns are, in the words of the Apostle Paul, a noisy gong and a clanging cymbal. This is our fourth week of exploring the practices of the United Methodist Church going forward. We've talked about futuring. The good old days is not our future. Balancing. The fruits of the Spirit are the balancing rod enabling United Methodists to serve faithfully without being extremists. Thirdly, reasoning. A component of faith is using our brains to think through the consequences of what we say and do before we speak and act. This week we add a fourth, and that's the practice of partnering. Now, on the surface, this practice appears to be mundane and certainly not exciting. However, from my observation of more than 1,500 congregations in Kansas, Texas, and Oklahoma, this practice of partnering is often the determining factor of whether a United Methodist church, regardless of size, is full of energy, utilizing every resource available to be servant congregation. But on the other hand, many times a church is worn out trying to get along with each other. The difference is whether partnering exists. Now, my favorite story of partnering was when I visited a faith community composed of 7 persons. Every Sunday, 100% attendance. I shared with them a question concerning why they remained a congregation, and I said from the outside in, many think that the only reason you're still existing is until the final funeral of the faithful will occur. Well, that's all it took for, in the next few minutes, setting the record straight with their bishop. They were offended by what others thought about their existence. So I said, well, tell me your story. Because at times I'm sort of slow and stupid. I expected them to tell me about their past. Their first response was clear and is etched forever in my memory. As one person said, how else can we build Africa University? This visit occurred in 1990, 2 years after the General Conference had embarked on building the first private 4-year accredited university on the continent of Africa. This congregation of 7 persons had and seized the opportunity to partner with over 10 million United Methodists to build Africa University. They couldn't do that by themselves, but they could do it partnering with others. And then they went ahead to talk about their excitement for the United Methodist Committee on Relief. Wherever relief was needed, there was UMCOR partnering to make a difference. Then they talked about every Monday morning they went to the county food pantry and took food. They didn't have enough food for every person in the county that needed food, but partnering with others, they could help get it done. And then they talked about converting a room in their church building with outside door and access for the use of the county sheriff for persons who needed emergency shelter and did not belong in jail. There was so much energy for servanthood in those 7 persons. Why? Because they saw themselves as partners with each other, with their denomination, with other congregations, with the county sheriff, any like-minded people who existed to serve. They oozed with partnering. By the way, many years later, my friends tell me that that small rural church still exists with a growing congregation. Now, all 7 members I met with in 1990 have died, but their practice of partnering has prevailed. I shared earlier that the presence or lack of this practice of partnering is the distinguishing characteristic between congregations which are marked with energy for servanthood and those who are weary and worn trying to get along with each other. My observation is that the reason for this is that the practice of partnering is a source of energy. This practice is that aha moment when persons discover that one cannot do alone what they can do with others. Paul named this ministry reconciliation, living and working with those with whom we disagree. Partnering is when Paul and Peter disagreed with each other, but lived with each other and partnered for the sake of mission. What was accomplished by those early followers of Jesus could not have been accomplished by either Peter or Paul. It took partnership for God's love to be revealed both to the Jewish community as well as the Gentiles. This is what we discovered, 25 years ago in the Nothing But, Nothing But Net's mission to radically curtail the rampage of malaria, killing hundreds of thousands of people annually. Oh, the United Methodist Church could have tried to do it alone, but our effort to raise $25 million above and beyond our budget was not going to be enough. To be sure, the National Basketball Association and the Gates Foundation and the United Methodist Church do not agree on many things. But we all agreed that malaria was a cruel and dreaded plague that could be nearly eradicated if we entered into a partnership providing nets under which persons could sleep to avoid contacting mosquitoes and contracting malaria. And so, with 4 basketball goals on our parking lot, Grace United Methodist Church invited Southwestern College basketball players, children from the neighborhood. We came together and raised $1,500, joining with many, many times of 20,000 fans at a basketball arena, sometimes when part of their ticket went to Nothing for Nets. And the board of directors of the Gates Foundation channeling millions of dollars to join with the United Methodist 25 million. And lo and behold, across this globe, a cruel and deadly disease was addressed and nearly diminished. Simply stated, partners don't spend their time and energy trying to diminish their differences of opinion. Partners join hands to accomplish what no single entity or person can accomplish alone. Yes, if a person is uncomfortable with partnering, they will be uneasy in the United Methodist Church moving forward. See, Jesus didn't even try to do it alone. He joined hands with disciples for the mission of God's love. Peter and Paul didn't try to do it alone. They joined together for the mission of God's love. And in 2024, 75% of the congregations in the United Methodist Church have said no to disaffiliation, choosing to practice partnership. Indeed, no one has stated it better than the hymn writer, coining the words of one of our favorite hymns, I'm the church, you're the church, we are the church together. Just a couple questions for your thought and conversation. What makes going it alone so tempting in the journey of faith? And secondly, what are your stories of faith communities partnering to accomplish together what they cannot accomplish alone? It's a fun journey as we explore the practices of the United Methodist Church moving forward. Thank you.